Hollywood's biggest night was about to become an unforgettable test for the Trump family. Under the dazzling lights of the 2025 Academy Awards, the grandeur of the red carpet was not just a stage for films and awards but also for an impending confrontation. Melania Trump and Barron Trump had been invited to this prestigious event not to be honored but to be made a spectacle of, a fact they were yet to realize. However, that night, it wouldn't just be a Trump standing up. It would be a son fighting to defend his mother's honor. In the heart of Los Angeles, Hollywood's biggest stars had gathered for the night. As always, the Oscars were the epitome of luxury and spectacle. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, and the media scrambled to capture every moment. Yet, beneath all this glamour, the night's host, Ethan Reynolds, had orchestrated another kind of show, one that would target the Trump family. Melania Trump had long been known for her grace and elegance. That evening, as always, she captivated everyone with her poise and style. By her side was her son, Barron Trump. Unlike his father, he had not yet ventured into politics, but as a representative of his family, he was about to face Hollywood in a way he never expected. As they entered the venue, cameras instantly turned toward them. Some looked on with admiration, others with skepticism. Hollywood's elite had mixed feelings about the presence of the Trumps. But the truth was, neither Barron nor Melania had any idea what awaited them that night. The ceremony began, and Ethan Reynolds took the stage for the opening monologue. Known as one of Hollywood's boldest and most controversial comedians, Reynolds had built his reputation on pushing boundaries. He had mocked many celebrities before, sometimes drawing laughter, sometimes provoking outrage. But tonight, his jokes were aimed with a sharper focus on the Trump family. At first, his humor seemed harmless, entertaining the crowd with comments on the biggest films, the best actors, and the night's surprises. However, as he continued, his jokes took a different turn. Tonight, we have the biggest names in cinema. And of course, some guests who are known not for their contributions to film but for giving us great material for comedy. A light chuckle echoed through the room. The camera immediately panned to Melania and Barron Trump. Melania's expression tightened slightly, though her years of experience helped her maintain her composure. Barron, however, stood tall beside her, fully aware that something was unfolding. But Reynolds wasn't finished. He turned to the audience and continued. Of course, we're used to seeing Melania Trump grace the red carpet. But there's a twist. This time, she's not walking beside the most powerful man in the world. Instead, she's here with his young heir. Laughter filled the room. Some laughed genuinely, others exchanged uneasy glances. Melania lowered her head slightly, trying to avoid the mocking stares. But Barron's gaze remained locked on Reynolds. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. This was just the beginning, because Ethan Reynolds was about to cross the line even further. As Reynolds continued delivering jokes with roaring laughter from some in the audience, Barron Trump listened carefully to every word spoken about his mother. While a large part of the crowd found the jokes amusing, others sensed something was off. The cameras zoomed in on Melania Trump's poised yet tense expression and Barron's increasingly stern gaze. You know, in Hollywood, some people just get invited everywhere. It used to be that only models walked the runway, but now, even first ladies get to strut down the red carpet like movie stars. This time, the laughter was louder. Some attendees felt the remark went too far, but they remained silent, not wanting to disrupt the fun. Reynolds was not just making a joke, he was diminishing Melania Trump's long-standing status in the fashion world, reducing her to merely a former model. But to Barron Trump, this was unacceptable. The young man leaned forward slightly in his seat. His face showed neither anger nor panic, just unwavering determination. He had come to this event simply to accompany his mother, but now, he had to defend her. I think we should add a special guest award to tonight's ceremony. After all, some people don't just make it here on their own merit, but by standing in someone else's shadow. That was the breaking point. Barron Trump took a deep breath and stood up. The room fell silent. No one had expected Barron to react. Reynolds noticed Barron moving and hesitated for a moment, but then tried to lighten the situation with a smug grin. "Oh my God, is young Trump coming up on stage?" he quipped. But Barron's expression made it clear, this was no joke. As Barron took measured steps toward the stage, all eyes followed him. Camera angles shifted, and social media exploded as people began sharing the live broadcast. A Trump had never walked onto an Oscar stage like this before. When Barron finally reached the stage, Reynolds was still forcing a smile, but it was visibly strained. Barron took the microphone, and the entire auditorium fell into silence. "I suppose you didn't expect me to stand up for my mother," he began. "But you were wrong. Because even on Hollywood's biggest night, there should be no room for disrespecting a woman, especially a mother." A murmur spread through the crowd. Some were stunned, others nodded in approval. Celebrities whispered among themselves as millions at home watched this historic moment unfold. Is respect only meant for certain people? What some of you find entertaining tonight is, in reality, nothing but an unnecessary and degrading act. My mother is here tonight. Does she deserve to be a target simply because she carries the Trump name? Reynolds attempted to reach for the microphone, but Barron lifted his hand, signaling him to stop. This was not an act of defiance but a statement of truth. This night is supposed to celebrate Hollywood, cinema, and art. But unfortunately, some choose to use it as an opportunity to humiliate others. Making someone the butt of a joke because of their name or background isn't art, it's a reflection of poor character. The room fell into a brief silence before applause began to ripple through the crowd. First, a few people, then the entire audience rose to their feet, applauding Barron Trump's unexpected yet powerful speech. Reynolds, realizing he had lost control of the moment, looked around the room for support, but none came. Meanwhile, social media was on fire. The hashtags #RespectBarron and #HollywoodHypocrisy trended instantly. Celebrities praised Barron's courage, while others criticized Reynolds for taking his jokes too far. As Barron set the microphone back down, he ended with one final statement. "Mocking someone doesn't make you bigger. It's time for Hollywood to understand that." The applause grew even louder. Some audience members gave standing ovations, while others silently nodded. Melania Trump gazed at her son with pride. In just a few minutes, he had transformed a moment of public humiliation into a battle for dignity. As Barron stepped down from the stage, Reynolds remained frozen in place. The night had started under his control, but now, it belonged to Barron. But this wasn't the end. This moment wouldn't just be remembered as an Oscar night controversy. It would become a worldwide discussion. Barron Trump walked off that stage, but every eye remained on him. No one had anticipated that Hollywood's most glamorous night would take such a turn. Just moments ago, celebrities had laughed freely, but now they exchanged thoughtful glances. Some were unsure of what to do, while others quietly agreed with Barron's words. Ethan Reynolds, however, was left speechless. He had never expected a joke to backfire so spectacularly. Typically, his target stayed silent. The controversy faded within days. But this time was different. Barron Trump had not only defended his mother, but had also challenged Hollywood's long-standing culture of double standards and mockery. Melania Trump, with tears in her eyes, met her son. Barron gave her a small, reassuring smile. "Sorry, I think I attracted too much attention," he joked. But Melania clasped his hand firmly and shook her head. "No, Barron," she said softly yet resolutely. "Tonight, you were the greatest award I could ever receive." That night, the Oscars handed out their gold statues, but the real prize wasn't made of gold. It was honor. Barron Trump didn't just defend his mother that night. He made a statement in front of the entire world. Many had seen him merely as the bearer of a famous last name, but in a single evening, Barron shattered that perception. Under Hollywood's brightest lights, on a stage watched by millions, he chose not to ignore the ridicule aimed at his family and himself. Instead, he responded with composure and unwavering confidence. His words weren't driven by fleeting anger. On the contrary, they carried a message that was logical, mature, and deeply meaningful. This was a young man taking his first bold stand against Hollywood's double standards. So, who will Barron Trump become in the future? Will he continue to be a strong figure, just as he stood firm on that stage? Many assumed he was growing up quietly, far from the public eye, but this night proved that he was more than just a passive observer. Barron earned the respect of millions as a defender of justice and dignity. The lesson he taught Hollywood wasn't about his last name. It was about being an individual who stands by his principles. But this was only the beginning. As Barron Trump's name echoed across social media and news headlines, many began to wonder what path he would take next. While he has yet to step into politics, his poise, determination, and ability to express himself signal that he could become a major figure in the years to come. That night, he walked onto the stage simply to defend his mother, but the impact was far greater. Barron Trump took his first step onto the world stage, and millions saw exactly who he was.